Thank you, Director Chavez.
Thank you. I'm going to pass something out, and I apologize and we'll get some to the audience too. And this is a motion that I took a crack at while everybody was talking with input from all of you. And I'll just give you a minute to get it. But as you're getting this document, I'm going to just read the top. I'm going to read through it. This is a motion to support the action of having our chair sign onto the Casa Compact. And what you see at the top of the document is the caveats that were put forward by MTC. And then the bottom part is what I'm adding. And so I'm gonna just read the top. I'm gonna just read it through if that's okay. This is what MTC did. They authorized the chair to sign the compact. However, it does not constitute approval of the compact itself. Enable the commission to proactively engage in advocacy as the process to implement the compact goes through the state legislature. Authorization should be accompanied by a comprehensive program of outreach to local governments. With adequate representation from local governments and representatives, direct the MTC Legislative Committee to include local jurisdictions in legislative advocacy. Authorization does not constitute an endorsement of any particular funding strategy and will include engagement, education on impact of funding strategies. So I would like that to be our base, and then add the following. Given the lack of clear emphasis on tenant protections in the legislative agenda currently being discussed statewide, and the danger that new tenants will, with less than 12 months completed in their leases, could be evicted, ABAG should move to support a just cause ordinance that takes place immediately. What's that?
Excuse me, Chair. May I make a point of order? Isn't it not the time to make a motion at this point, but after all the remaining comments have been collected?
No, I think that it's appropriate to make the motion at this point. If it gets seconded, then we'll have discussion, so we're not going to cut off the discussion of the executive. There'll just be a motion on the floor.
Well, the other people are lying here with their cards up the entire time, and you're...
I went in order of the cards that were up, and I'll continue to do that to the best of my ability, but okay. I believe we're good.
Thank you. So ABAG should move to support a just cause ordinance that takes place immediately rather than being after the 12 months tenancy. That direct MTC and ABAG staff to return with an analysis of the impact of the current AMI levels in compact item number 7 on low-income housing production and recommendations on how to lower them to better address the housing needs articulated in the Casa Compact, which is designated as 80 to 120% versus 80 to 150%. Additionally, the Casa Compact recommends the average affordability not exceed 110% of AMI, and it should similarly receive consideration in lowering that average to 100% of AMI. The process and timeline of determining the governance of the regional housing enterprise and the final determination of the governance of MTC and ABAG should be aligned in order to ensure appropriate accountability and outcomes without degradation to the public sector representation, which I'll come back and speak about that. I know it's a little confusing. Establish a task force of elected officials throughout the Bay Area counties filled with cities. I didn't mean just counties, but with members of cities, to follow the legislative process and give concurrent and robust feedback to each individual piece of legislation and to the value and fairness of the legislative package. On an ongoing report to MTC and ABAG about the progress on the strategies that lay out the timing of implementation, specifically on proposed land use changes and the funding opportunities / I should have added strategies. Finally, clarifying language relative to the use of public lands to encourage housing development without encouraging the inappropriate disposition of public property, and that would be my motion.
Second.
So with that, what I would rather, I won't go, I know this was long, and I'm happy to answer questions, so I'm not going to make comments on this now, but I wanted to just get us started with something that was solid, so we had something to work off of. If people want to change it, I'm not emotionally, well, I'm emotionally attached to a piece of it, but I want to get input, so thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor, and I will continue discussion because I think I see all the placards up. And